Hello, everyone. Wow, I wasn't expecting to put this off this long, but I don't know. I've just been really, really busy, and I'm pushing myself to do it like right now because I can feel myself getting a little tickle in the back of my throat, and very soon I won't be good for any sort of talking. Yeah, just hoping whatever I'm coming down with holds off till the heat of midterms and exams and papers are all done, because I really don't need to be sick right now. I already feel a little bit bad. I have not done Inktober for the last 3 days, and I feel so bad about that, but at the same time, I can't push myself to do it right now. I've had 3 papers to finish this weekend, and I had been working on them all for a while, but it's really hard to complete papers when I'm working. I only have about a day and a half to really get all 3 of them polished up. And luckily, I'm the kind of person who's really good at overwriting when it comes to papers. I don't know, I seem to over explain things, and usually, like, a teacher will say, well, the paper has a 7-page limit, and I'll write 10, and I'm no, not that badly. Like the one I'm working on right now is 6 pages. It's a 6-page cap, and I am at what? I'm at 8, and so I have 2 pages I have to cut somehow. But that's a good problem to have. It's not like you have to have a minimum of 4 pages, and I'm only at 2. How am I gonna fluff it this much? And so yeah, school takes priority. I that's the biggest thing. That's the big thing in my life that I want to do good at and complete so I can have my degree and get a job, right? And then after that, I'm going to probably try to focus more on completing a commission so that I can get that done in a timely manner. I want to finish that, and I'll try to fit in time to do at least some smaller Inktober drawings until this big midterm busy time finishes up. But I mean, I'm going to try to still get as many pages done as I can Inktober. I don't think I'm going to try to do catch up. Maybe I will if towards the end of the month I have some more time. But I'm not a big fan of trying to push myself to catch up. It's a rabbit hole of underachieving and making stuff that well, not underachieving. It's just a thing that happens, that you push yourself so hard that things don't come out the way you want them to do, and then you're just angry with everything that comes out. You don't get to enjoy the process or the outcome. Like, I'm really proud of a lot of the drawings that have come out earlier this month, but if I push myself too hard to just do something really fast but good, it's going to come out bad. I just know it will, and I'm going to be angry at it. I mean, normally I like a challenge, but if I'm stressing out from schoolwork and then I'm stressing out from artwork, I'm just gonna be a big ball of angry, which is gonna make me a big ball of sad, because I don't deal well with being angry. I usually just, it turns into sad. But yeah, I don't like to wallow in negative emotions, so let's segue out of this. This piece is, I think, one of my favorites this Inktober, mostly because I don't play around in ink washes that much, and I, for some reason, decided that it would be a good idea. Like, technically, actually, it was an afterthought. I just wanted to do this big drawing and have her lost in space, because I was combining 2 themes I was combining Lost and Rock because the day that was supposed to be for Lost, I was at work, and so all I managed was a tiny doodle of me asleep in a chair on one of my breaks. And I'm like, that's not fun. So I decided to try and maybe combine it a little bit with with Rock. And so we have girls lost in space, taking a break on a hover rock to gather their bearings. I don't know, it seemed cute at the time. But yeah, this was a glorious week ago when I had a lot more time. And so, since I had recently finished a bit of reading and assignments, I let myself like really sink into this one. And after I finished the drawing, I guess I was just so pleased with myself that I went to my art desk and got some acrylic ink and some drawing ink, and I mixed it together a little to get this weird kind of blue-gray, and I used that as a wash. It came out pretty good, but it would have been nicer probably on a paper that was more suited to it. This is just sketch paper, and it's a little bit water resistant, so it didn't bleed through. But the paper is thin, so it did warp a lot. Ooh, that's that thing that's my favorite thing to do, to lighten the lines of a sketch with a kneadable eraser. Most people I know don't like kneadable erasers, like they're weird, they're mushy, and most people I know complain about like, why do you have to work out with it, and then it's so soft you can't get the corners and stuff you want out, and you have to rub it so much. I'm like, but that's a thing you can only really do with the kneadable erasers. Like, you roll it into like a little noodle, and then you roll it over your page, and it erases just slightly enough to lighten your lines, which makes it really easy to ink over it. And the soft erasers, I don't know, I don't draw too hard, so it can be used to completely erase lines if you want it to. But yeah, that's a trick that's like my favorite trick. I think my only bad habit with kneadable erasers is I use them probably for too long. Like, they get really soft and kind of sticky. That's bad. I have a hard time telling when you're done with it because it never really leaves dust behind. It doesn't wear away. It just gets gross. But yeah, this drawing in general is going to be a really long one. The video is at 3 times speed, and it's still about half an hour long. It's really long. I didn't want to speed it too much because I seem to actually be drawing kind of quickly for this one, and that just made things look really weird and jumpy. So 3 times speed it is. And I guess I'm sorry if I sound super tired. I am a little bit, but things are going actually really, really good. So it's a good kind of tired. It's a things are kind of paying off sort of tired for the most part. The only thing I'm not liking so much right now is my job, but that's just because that's gotten monotonous and I'm not learning anything there. It's just a lot of stress and very little pay. But it is paying, so I can't complain too much. And then school, I'm learning so much, and I love learning, so that's always fun. And this semester, I'm volunteering even to get some work experience. And I'm working with children. I love children. They are so sweet, and like they're getting to know me, and they get excited when I come in. And I don't know, that's just a great feeling, to have people be excited that you're coming in and you're going to help them that day. and and so work and school are doing well. Even Inktober, though I'm a little sad that I've missed 3 days in a row, is going really well because my goal was to beat my record, for doing as many days as I could for Inktober. I've never done a full Inktober, but my record is about, I think it's 18. Yeah, it's 18. 18 days out of 31, which is a little over half. But last year I did less than 18. I think I did 14. Last year it was a really, really busy October. And this year I'm already at, I think, was it 13 consecutive days, which means I have still about half of the month to at least be 18. I'm hoping maybe I can do at the very least 20. And we'll see. Maybe the next year I'll do all 31. I'm optimistic, okay? I'm being optimistic. It's what I do. It's how I try to live my life right now, because I can't compare myself to other people who are doing all 31 days well, because most of the people that I follow on social media and stuff, they do it professionally, so they get to draw every day. And I know my limits. I know that I have other things going on that are very mean to me, or very time intensive. No, they're not mean for me. They're good for me. They're tiring, and they take up all my day. But I like them, and I learn a lot from them. So it's just that there are just so many hours in a day, and I have to have priorities, and certain ones I'm paying for and need to be graded on. So we'll put those first. Aw, dang, I keep noticing, like, the video that I'm doing the things that I really liked, but I don't get to talk about them till I've already done them. Like, inking those rocks, that part I did so fast, especially the one that she's standing on. Like, drawing natural shapes like rocks is really fun and easy for me because it doesn't have to be perfect. Nature's not perfect. So if you make a line a little extra thick, or actually they look better with lines that are really thin and then some really thick, because it gives it like a texture and a sense of depth and shadow, and that looks really good then, because you don't have to be so predictable with it. You don't have to be like, oh, that makes no sense, that shadow is not there. Well, you kind of do, but if you fudge it up a little bit, it's okay. Because nature's not perfect, and sometimes we can't explain why there's a shadow there. I think it basically works that the brain just fills in the gaps. It knows what a rock should look like. It guesses that lump looks more or less like a rock, and it goes, oh, I guess that's a dent or a shadowy area of the rock. I love that about art, that you don't have to always do things super perfectly, because the brain will make all the connections for you. It's an amazing thing with the mind, the way it connects things. Oh, and here I go. I'm starting the ink wash. I really like that color, how it came out. I mixed it 2 different inks. I was the Liquitex acrylic ink in, what is it, phthalocyanine blue? It's like a really, really blue. yeah, April, blue. And then Higgins drawing ink. And I want to do like a test to see how that acts, by the way, because the acrylic ink has a semi-waterproofness once it's dry, and the Higgins ink doesn't. It'll be re-wet and get all smudgy. So I don't know. I wonder if I should do a swatch test with that later. Okay, distracted. But anyway, right now I'm noticing too. I was thinking a little bit when I was drawing, but not a lot because I was so focused on how funny that color was that I should have used a bigger brush. But at the same time, I don't really have that many bigger brushes. I do, but they're my nice watercolor brushes, and I try to keep my watercolored brushes just for watercoloring because I'm not so I haven't that much experience with acrylic ink or gouache and acrylic paint, so I keep a separate set of brushes for those because I know that acrylic ink and acrylic paint tend to be a little less water soluble. They will get kind of permanent-y, and I don't know how that'll happen if it gets stuck in the bristles or something. And well, I wash my brushes every time I finish painting, but I'm still just afraid that it'll wear out the bristles faster, and the watercolor brushes are really expensive. I think I have just synthetic ones, or some that are like synthetic blends, synthetic natural blends, but nice watercolor brushes are expensive. And you usually have to have something that's like really fine and pretty close to natural, and that usually makes them really, really expensive. So just keeping those separate. So the brush I'm using for this is an old watercolor brush that I had already started to well, it was still working really well, but I had accidentally bought another brush to replace it. Well, I needed to get a few brushes, and I bought like 3, and I forgot what sizes I needed exactly, so I only needed 2, but I bought 3, and one of them was a duplicate of a size I already had. It was wearing down, so I was thinking of saving it till it wore down, but I guess I decided just to use my old watercolor brush for acrylics now, so that I would have more acrylic ones that were fine because, well, a little bigger, because all the acrylic ones I have are a lot finer. So this is the biggest acrylic brush I have now, and it's a size 4. I need to get a bigger one for washes. Maybe I'll do that next time I go to the store. Note to self: bigger brush for acrylic inks. Ooh, and there's the is that a Pentel water brush? I can't remember now. I think it's a Pentel or a Pilot, something like that. It's a P something, and it's supposed to be that you put water in it and use it to watercolor paint with. It makes watercolor painting a lot more portable since you don't have to carry the extra water bottle and stuff. But I had seen that some other people put like fountain pen ink in there, and you can use it to basically kind of lay down large oh, there was a cut because I took a break. I needed to take a break, sitting too long. And but I basically had this idea that I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to put fountain pen ink in a water brush, and it has to be fountain pen ink because if you do like acrylic ink, it might start to dry in there and clot the brush, and then it'll be a big mess. But fountain pen ink, it likes to flow more, so it's a waterier ink, and so I put that in the brush. I wanted to put something darker, but at the time I only had Noodler's Cactus Fruit Eel. It's a Noodler's Eel line, which means that it's lubricated. It was less likely to get caught, so I thought that was good anyway. But the only big bottle I had that would actually fill this was Cactus Fruit, which is super hot magenta. I like the color, and it makes lettering with it kind of funny, but it kind of is hard to do ink washes with a bright pink. When I don't know, at least if you're thinking in the kind of shades of blue-gray, I would have liked if it was like a blue-gray or a blurple or something like that. But close enough. think it still came out. It's still really nice and fun. And as I was doing the ink wash, I was like, oh, I know what to do. I can do the highlights of her hair color with the Noodler's brush that I have now. This was actually a really good one for using a lot of tools. For the liner, I think I use that Pentel brush that I'm using right now. Not Pentel, Faber-Castell. It's a Faber-Castell Pit, and it's a brushy pen. I think it was the softer one, and then the ink wash was one that I painted on. And I used the Micron for tiny details like the stitches and the ribbing on the collar and cuffs of her jacket, and the stitching, and I think the details on her hoverboard. And then, now I am bringing out the Sakura Jelly Roll for the stars. I had thought a little bit about doing masking fluid, but sometimes masking fluid gets kind of stuck to certain kinds of paper, and I have never tested on this paper, so I was worried that maybe if I basically laid down this rubber paint and then washed over it, it might not have come back off. Sometimes when you try to pull the masking fluid off on really textured paper, it doesn't come off. It just rips out your paper. And this paper is pretty smooth, so I probably wouldn't have done that, but at the same time it's really thin, so if it messed it up, it would have been ruined. So I decided, like, I'll just use the jelly roll. I haven't used that enough. I don't use it an awful lot. I tend to use it to correct my black, and I very rarely use it for like actual detailing because it's not super opaque. It's the most opaque thing I have though, so I think it still came out nice. And we're nearing the end. I managed to ramble on this train of thought for half an hour. So wow, thanks for sticking with me, and I hope to get another one done this week that I can submit next week. And I'll see you guys then. Bye!